It was in 2023 when I was in the university, and every single week I would be needing to fix my life. I would vow to myself and promise to myself that, hey, I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to live like that. I did everything in my power to basically be disciplined, to follow my protocol routine, have a morning routine, take cold showers. But every single week or a month, I would fall back into my old life and I would not realize what I was doing wrong. What I was doing wrong is I was fixing my life in the wrong way. I was self sabotaging every single month and I was breaking my promises to myself. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you 7 ways to unfuck your life. And not only that, I'm going to tell you how to not self sabotage anymore and how I am basically living my life where my screen time on my phone is 20 minutes to 1 hour max. I'm consistently focused on my work. I'm reading books. I'm going to the gym every single day without even having a rest day. And I'm living a life full of discipline where I'm making my bed every single day in the morning. I'm waking up early at 4 a.m. How am I able to do that? And how I'm not procrastinating or self sabotaging? I'm going to give it all away in this video. So keep your full attention on me and on my words. Point number one. Set your basic standards and obey them to the best of your capabilities. When I was in university, I realized we don't rise to our highest standards. We fall back down to our lowest standards. I realized by watching these entrepreneurs who were making $1 million a month, and my goal was somewhere around 5K to 10K a month. And I would often realize that 5K and 10K per month is their literally, they would be miserable if they earn that much amount of money. Their lowest standard is making $1 million per month. That might be somebody's dream to make $1 million in their entire lifetime, and their lowest standards is to make $1 million per month, and they're consistently hitting that number. So I realized I need to set my basic hygiene standards of what I expect from my life. And it doesn't even have to be with money. It can be with how you live your life, your character traits on a day to day basis, how you talk to people. Do you make your bed every single day? Are you disciplined? Do you groom yourself every single day? What kind of clothes are you wearing? Is there a stain on your clothes? What is your basic standard? I need you to write it down and define it, because every single time you self sabotage and every single time you're needing to fix your life, what is actually going on is you keep going beyond your basic standards. You haven't set up your basic standards. And how does it work? Let me give you an example. For me, I would never ever do drugs because literally that's below my basic standards. Like, my standards are high enough that I will make my bed, I will be consistent on whatever goal I'm trying to accomplish. I'm going to be reading, I'm going to be taking action. That's my basic standards of character traits and what kind of person I want to become. My basic standard is never going to be selling drugs, doing drugs, or killing a person. Like, think about it. If you're a normal person, right? You will never ever kill a person and murder somebody for no reason. You wouldn't do anything unethical that is against the law for no reason. So this is how I set my basic standards from life, which enabled me to not ever fall back down to that old version of me that was doing all of these bad habits, that was indulging in instant gratification, not making his bed, living an unclean, unhygienic life, and constantly self sabotaging himself. So, this is exactly what I did. I woke up, I started journaling about what kind of basic standards I want to have, basic standards that to these average people would look like their goals, their dream life. What kind of basic standard do I want from myself? So I wrote down a list of things: making my bed every single day, talking to people in a calm way where I'm not stuttering, I'm confident. These are my basic standards. Doing the work even when I don't feel like it, having next level discipline every single day, taking cold showers is going to be my basic standard. And that's how I did it, because I wrote it down, my basic standards, all of it on a piece of paper. And then I followed it. I reminded myself of that basic standard. I put it on the wall. I put it literally on my desk, and I put it as my phone screen wallpaper. And I constantly reminded myself of my basic standards. So you need to do the same thing. Set your basic standards, remind yourself of it, and take action to live up to your basic standards and never ever fall back down below it. If you're getting value out of this video, I would urge you to like and subscribe my channel and leave a comment down below on your life and your stories with self-improvement, and what are your problems you're dealing with at the moment with self-improvement or ruts. It can be addictions, anything. And if you need my one-to-one advice with addictions, with self sabotaging, with discipline, with self improvement, mental health, you can DM me on Instagram or Discord. Number two, cut out all bad habits and control your environment. So, if you take a decision to change your life and not self sabotage again, your actions must be aligned with that decision you took. If you're taking a decision to take a step back from social media, you should be deleting social media. You should be probably setting child lock on your phone that doesn't even allow you to re download social media ever again. And that's your action justifying your decision. If you're taking a decision to quit alcohol and your action is going to the club, going to the bar with your friends and not drinking, but you're drinking because that's the environment, then you're basically haven't taken that decision to quit alcohol. You're still deciding. So decide you want to quit PMO, decide you want to quit alcohol, decide you want to quit something and change your life, be disciplined and take action according to that decision. Don't be like, hey, I've taken the decision to be consistent every single day, but I haven't set up the morning routine. I haven't set up the routine. I haven't set up my environment in a way that allows me to be consistent and follow that routine every single day. I haven't scheduled my days in advance. I haven't written down my to do list for what I'm going to do the next day. So take decisions, but also take actions that align with that decision. When I heard of the advice from all of these people who talk about environment, I always thought to myself, this is like a stupid advice because everybody talks about it. And I keep on self sabotaging myself. I keep on not making my bed after like 7 or 8 days. Then I realized that this advice was probably the most important advice when I first heard of a few entrepreneurs in our YouTube space. And all of them, almost all of them, have immaculate level of control and strictness in their environment. They had no social media, no YouTube. They had strict control over their technologies. They would never be distracted because their environment doesn't even allow them to be distracted. They would sell everything in their house, all the cars, all the money, all of it will be gone. And they would be in a room and working, and nothing can distract them at all. They would be wearing like a Casio $50 watch. They wouldn't even be wearing a Rolex because they don't want to be controlled by the materialistic world. That's how much control they had over their environment that allowed them to make so much money and be consistent for 7, 8, 9 years, decade, 2 decades. So take this advice seriously. Don't be like me who didn't take this advice at all and who was like, okay, I'm going to make my bed, but I kept on not making it. So control your environment and be strict with it because the millionaires, the people you're competing with, they are very strict with their environment. Take this advice very seriously. Number three, obliterate self sabotage with sheer discipline. When I was in university, I would be following a protocol, a routine that was very, very strict and it required a lot of discipline. Waking up at 4 a.m., taking a cold shower, cleaning my room, meditation, journaling, working for hours, going to the gym, eating a diet which had no dopamine in it. It was just bland, but it was very healthy for me. It made my brain very sharp. And when I was following this life full of discipline, I realized two things. Number one, there was no self sabotage. I wouldn't sabotage myself at all. Number two, I would be the happiest version of myself. I would be smiling throughout the day for no reason. I would just not be controlled by any social media or cheap dopamine. I would just be working very hard. And I realized the main reason why I was not able to work consistently on my projects, on the promises I have made to myself, was because I lacked discipline. Discipline is a skill. It's a skill we need to develop over a lifetime. It doesn't happen overnight. You need to be disciplined at a small scale at the beginning and scale it up slowly, month by month, year by year, to the level where 5 years, a decade from now, you're so disciplined that self sabotage for you doesn't even exist because you're just disciplined. You don't care about your feelings, you don't care about how hard the work is or how much you don't want to do that work, but you're disciplined. So you're going to do it anyways. What is discipline? Doing the hard work, even when you don't feel like it, is discipline. And the more you do it, the more you work on the things you don't want to work on a daily basis. Maybe it's cleaning your room. Maybe it's cleaning your laundry. Maybe it's making your bed, cleaning your desk, cleaning your technologies, whatever it might be. Start slow and do it consistently on a regular basis. That's what discipline is. It's not something that you grow on a tree. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes time. So, how did I develop my discipline? So, I would start very slow, very small. And this advice is so much ignored by everybody that it is insane. It is mind boggling to me to understand and realize that nobody takes the advice I'm going to give you very seriously. It's a very basic advice. But let me tell you something. Every single military, army in the world, you may say they are the most disciplined person, right? They make their bed every single morning to perfection. And when I say make your bed, and I started by making my bed every single morning because I thought I was over it, I was above it. My ego didn't allow me to be like, oh, I have to make my bed. That's how I become more disciplined. My ego was just not allowing me to be disciplined in these mini tasks because I thought I was above it. You have to get rid of your ego and do these small tasks every single day regularly. That's how you build your discipline up. Because when you start your day with an act of discipline, maybe it's a cold shower, maybe it's making your bed, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's a protocol you follow in the morning, maybe it's gym, maybe it's cardio, whatever it might be. When you start your day with an act of discipline, your entire day is going to be disciplined. That's what I realized in my life when I was in university. Whenever I would have a morning routine at 4 a.m. in the morning, my whole day would be so perfect to the point where I had no self sabotage for months. So, obliterate self sabotage with sheer discipline. Number four, failure forecasting. I learned this technique from a few YouTubers and entrepreneurs, and they all use this specific technique I have never heard of. So, we have all heard of visualization and manifestation and all of that shit. We tend to visualize positive things, but we never ever visualize our failures. We don't think and give time to thinking in advance of how we can fuck it up. So, what I did when I was in university is I was journaling how I can fuck it up. If I was taking a decision, let's say I was taking a decision to start my YouTube channel, let's say, and I want to do content creation, I would ask myself, how can I completely mess it up in the next couple of months? All the ways I can think of that can lead to me just quitting and failure from occurring. So, this is what I would do. I would visualize all of the ways I would mess it up and all of the ways I've written down in that document. So, the first thing would be like me getting distracted from social media and my phone. So, how can I eliminate that? I can set up child lock on my phone. So, I did that. And now my screen time is 30 minutes, 1 hour max. So, I fixed that. You need to visualize all of the ways you can mess it up and then also visualize how you will fight against it. You're getting the urge to do something bad, and then you visualizing yourself getting through that urge. Maybe it's going on a walk, maybe whatever works for you, right? You don't have to follow me and my advice perfectly. Whatever works for you works for you. So if going on a walk to avoid that urge works for you, then it works for you. It never worked for me. But think about the failures you can have, visualize it, and visualize how you will get through it. I learned this from Alex Samosi. He's a very famous entrepreneur on YouTube, and he talked about learning and what it means. Basically, learning is same conditions but different action. What has been going on in my life was I was taking the same actions with the same conditions. So whenever I would go through the urges to do something bad, I was not taking any different action. That means I wasn't learning from my failures. So I wasted months and months of my life not realizing what I was doing wrong. And then I realized that I wasn't even learning from my failures. I was just thinking I'm learning from my failures, but I wasn't taking the action to do so. How do you take the action to do so? Well, when you go through failures, when you go through setbacks, when you self sabotage yourself, you open a piece of paper and you write down why that happened and how you can avoid it, what actions you can take right now to avoid that from ever happening ever again. And that solution might not be perfect. You might need to go through like 10 more failures of similar kinds to get to the solution of that problem. There might be different versions of the solutions you might come up with. And there might be many ways you can solve that problem. So how would you learn from your mistakes? Well, you don't learn if you don't change your actions. So you change your actions, and how do you do that? You failure forecast it beforehand. You think about your failures and how you can overcome them. If that method doesn't work, which was the case with me, the first time I wrote it down, it didn't work for me. That solution, the first one, didn't work for me. The ninth solution to my problem worked for me. Imagine going through that failure 9 times in a row, but taking different actions every single time and learning from it. The ninth one was finally the one that solved my phone addiction, my PMO addiction, my binge eating addiction, all of it. So, failure focused, and also think about how you can solve your problems. And if there's a big decision that I want to take in my life, maybe it's with career, I will always do journaling beforehand. I'll be like, how can I fuck it up? That's a question or journaling prompt I would ask myself. And I would go about writing down a list of things on how I can completely mess it up, whatever I'm doing. And then I'll write down, okay, how can I avoid it? Number five, fix your friends. You're the average of five people you surround yourself with, and that couldn't be more true. That is the most factual statement I've ever heard because with me and my life, when I was in university, when I was in school, when I would like to make some changes in my life, I would come back to my old life. And why would that happen? Because I was surrounding myself with the same people. When you surround yourself with your old friends, you keep on falling back to that old identity. It doesn't allow you. Just like your environment, your friends is very important, and who you talk to, who you speak to, who you spend your time with. If they're thinking in a way that, hey, you can never be a millionaire, you can never do that thing, you can never achieve that thing, and they're thinking negatively, that comes to you and you will start thinking negatively about it too. That happened with me when I was in the UK or when I was in school. When that friend told me that you can never achieve good grades, I would think to myself that, hey, I cannot achieve it. I would subconsciously think that that is not possible. And then I visualized me having very good friends, meaning having friends that would push me to be better, to be stronger, to be courageous. The type of friends that would push you in the gym to get another rep in, to go for the next level. The type of friends that would urge you or push you to talk to that goal. The type of friends that would push you to work even harder, that would tell you that, hey, you can achieve that goal you have set up for yourself. Work hard, be consistent, and you can do it too. If you surround yourself with that kind of people, imagine how good your life would be like. Imagine your life living with those kinds of people. And that thought from me has completely changed the way I approach friendships these days. Because you might think that they are your best friends, but they might not be your best friends. You are probably friends with that bad habit or your activity that you do together with that friend. So it might be video games. That gaming friend you have, that might not be your friend. That might be friends with that game and you're friends with the game as well. So you play it together. But do you actually think that is your friend? If you remove video games and you put him in the room together, would you be enjoying yourself talking to him? Or would you be bored? So ask yourself, are they actually truly my genuine friends? And if they are my genuine friends, are they good enough for me? Because if they're not good enough, I'm sorry to tell you, but you have to leave them and you have to get out of it because they are not allowing you to get updated to that new self image you're trying to achieve, that life you want to live. They're not allowing you to live that life. So, this is what I did. You can do it a bit differently. So, I would start off with slowly distancing myself, being more busy in my work task, being more busy in my protocol, not spending time outside, and just working all the time, and slowly distancing myself to all of those bad friends I don't want to hang around with anymore. You can be a bit more cutthroat. You can be like, oh, sorry, I don't want to be your friend anymore because I'm on a different life path. No disrespect to you, but this is what I want to do. And my values are not in align with your values. So I think we have to cut ties and move in different directions. So you can be more cutthroat and say that to your friend, and that's going to be a very respectful thing to do. But I frankly do not do that. I just distance myself slowly from that friend group or that friend. Number six, having a morning routine optimized for your mental health. So it was in 2021 when I was 17 years old. I was doing all of the bad habits you can possibly imagine. I was in my room and I was watching Netflix for 3 months straight. I wasn't getting out of my room. I wasn't talking to my parents, no socializing. And I was just in my room doing every single bad habit you can possibly think of. And it was in 2021 when I realized that every single bad habit that I was doing in my life, lack of discipline, binge eating, having no discipline, not going to the gym, working out, fixing my life, these things are not the problem. They are the symptoms of the main root problem, that is bad mental health. And when I realized in 2021, it was like a whole new world was opened for me. And as soon as I started having a morning routine that was optimized for my mental health, I fixed all of my problems or most of my problems. I'm not going to lie. Do this didn't made me completely disciplined or focused and all of that, but it helped me to get out of that goblin state where I was just indulging in all of these bad habits. I was on social media 24/7. My mental health was completely messed up. I was at all-time low in my life, and I didn't know what to do because I was a 17-year-old and I was so immature. I didn't know how life worked. I didn't know what career option I would go for. I didn't know any of it, and I was just indulging in instant gratification. I didn't realize how bad it was for me, but my mental health was super bad. And the only thing that fixed it was optimizing my morning routines and my days for mental health. So, what did I do? I woke up early in the morning. I think waking up early in the morning and not sleeping next to your phone will fix 85% of your problems. So I would not sleep next to my phone, and I would wake up early in the morning, and I would follow a morning routine every single day. And that morning routine would be cold shower, then making my bed, meditation, journaling, breath work, gratitude journaling, and then going on a walk or going to the gym. This morning routine isn't optimized for work, but it is optimized for your mental health. And your mental health, it is the root problem of all of these symptoms you're facing right now. So, have a morning routine that is optimized for your mental health. Because when I did that in 2021, 2022, 2023, time and time again, I would fix my mental health, and everything else will come naturally. Discipline would come naturally. Focus would come naturally. Have a dopamine detox morning routine and days and timetables. That fixed my life completely, and that made me stop self sabotaging myself for months. Number seven, no social media and music for the first 6 hours of the day. It was in 2022 when I realized that whenever I would wake up in the morning, I would be at a frequency which was so peaceful that would allow me to be focused, be happy, and get work done. And every single time I would open my phone, social media, notification, or listen to music, that frequency, that state I was in the morning, that blissful state would get destroyed. And it would be super hard for me to get back to that state. Like, even meditation for 20 minutes wouldn't help me to achieve that morning state, that morning peaceful energy I had. So, this is what I did. I would set a rule for myself that I would follow to this day, and that is to not open my phone or listen to music for the first 4 to 6 hours of the day. 4 to 6 hours afterwards, when it's like daytime, when it's afternoon, you can go and listen to music, you can go and watch some videos, it's fine. But in the morning, don't do it. Bonus point would be when I realized that self image and visualization is the most important habit you can do every single day to change your self image and how you see yourself. Because if you see yourself as a person who self sabotages, who is a bad person, who wants to quit this habit, but he sees himself as somebody who does that habit in the first place, and his self image hasn't been updated to the lifestyle he wants to follow, then working on your self image would completely change the way you live your life. And it did for me. So this is what I would do. I would have a document like this. And this document has all of my character traits, all of my goals, my introduction from 5 years from now, what I want to achieve in life, all of the images, the vision board, all of it. For 10 minutes every morning, I would visualize this document. I would read it, close my eyes, and visualize what my life would be like. And this is the fastest way to act like the person you want to become and be like. So the bonus would be that helped me a lot in my journey and stop me from self-sabotaging is to have a very strong self-image that you adore and admire and look up to. You don't chase goals, you chase the version of yourself who has those goals already achieved. You chase the character traits of the man who has those goals already. You don't chase your goals, you chase character traits. So remember that and work on your self image, work on the character traits every single day, regularly. This is a habit that works and it worked for me. So take this very seriously. This bonus point. Visualize every single morning, every single night. Read that document you have made. It takes literally 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It's a fun activity as well, like making that document on Google Notes and making it pretty and trying to read it every single day and optimizing it for your self image and reading it consistently. It was a game changer for me. So leave a comment down below if you have any more ideas about what kind of videos I should be making, and if you got any insights from this video and things that has helped you in your self-improvement career, then you can leave a comment down below. If you want one-to-one advice on addictions, on self-sabotage, on mental health, on productivity, working hard, you can DM me on Instagram or Discord. Thank you for watching this video.